All right, I think we can get started. Welcome everyone. This is the Monitor APM weekly meeting for February 19th. Dove, I think you have the couple items on the agenda. We'll give him just a minute here.
So yeah, it's the kids just barged in.
No problem.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't hear the screams in the background. Yeah, so nice job everyone for 12.8. We had a really fantastic release. We had all in all 7 release posts, which is a lot. Normally we have 3 or 4, maybe 5, but 7, that's a lot. And we had also 2 that were practically done, but we didn't have the documentation ready, so we push it for the next one. But so great job, everyone. Yeah, that's what I wanted to convey.
Yeah, definitely. Great job, everyone. Thanks for all your hard work.
Yeah. The second thing, yeah, I also have a second item. So I saw that this time, issues that were on 12.8 did not get moved for 12.9. Or did they? No, they did not move. And there were some issues that are in development, I guess, too. And I was thinking maybe we should go over them just to make sure, better understand where, what's their status. Should we move them to 12.9 or should we postpone them? You want to share, Matt?
Yep, just 1 sec here. Let me get it. Make sure I'm looking at the right one. Okay. So this is the workflow board, just filtered to 12.8. So maybe we'll start on the right side. So we have 8s that are in verification. Oh, there's some security ones. So I'll clear this off, but a couple in review. So I think the ones we should look at are these 2 that are in dev and 1 that's ready for dev. So the ready for dev one, I just kind of changed that yesterday. So
okay.
I think the back end work I think is done from what I understand from talking to Ryan, but there's still front end work to do. So there's some kind of confusion about kind of what the status was. So Ryan was assigned, so I unassigned him. I asked, this was just yesterday afternoon, assigned Clement, so maybe didn't have time to see this yet. But so I think this one will need to move, and I think there's just front end work left for it, from my understanding.
Okay. So so I guess we should move it to 12.9. And the question is, should we label this as deliverable or not? That's the question. We want to keep this decision to Clement?
Sure.
Yeah, I'd personally rather not putting a deliverable right now, since we're trying to highlight the importance of dog fooding metrics.
Okay.
But I'm happy to move this up in the hierarchy of the list for the non-deliverables.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds
I'm
good.
cool with that. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, and then the in development ones, there's 2. The refresh every few seconds.
Yeah, I'm working on this. I can provide an update. So
Okay.
I worked with David at the beginning of the milestone, and he he gave me some suggestions as to what the backend changes should be. So I tried the changes, but I had some concerns with that, and this did go off the radar. I apologize for that. So I met with Adrian to discuss my concerns, and I feel like this should be done after the pagination issue, because uh, if we constantly refresh the page to fetch the records, because right now we have a limit of 500, there is a high possibility that the user might see missing records, because right now we have a limit of 500 and we do not have pagination. So I think we should first work on pagination, get all the records first, and then figure out how to automatically refresh the page and fetch the latest updates so that there is no missing records. And so that is why this is still in dev, but I think I should move this back and talk to Dov about reprioritizing this.
Yeah, maybe we should move this to workflow blocked and just add that we will need to look at that after we will done with the pagination. And
yeah, I'll add a comment on the bottom.
yeah, makes sense. Okay.
Good,
There's
thank
also there's also some UX research that needs to happen. Specifically, figure out how refreshing interacts with pagination and the position of the view, depending on where the user is scrolled and all that stuff. And I think having a better idea of the user experience would help. And so since Nadia already has a research project, she asked us to add any new research ideas, and I think that should be one of them.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, thanks for reminding. I'll make sure to ping Nadia on that as well.
Okay, great, thank you. And then the other one that's in dev is this Prometheus settings section. Hard to say. I don't know if
I can provide an update for this one as well. So Nikolai and I broke this down into a couple of issues, and the first issue that we worked on, the back end is done, which Nikolai worked on. The front end is still pending. I have an MR for that. It's still in review. So technically, this is in review and not in depth, and broken down into a couple of issues. And I pinged Dov to kind of help prioritize the outstanding issues for upcoming releases.
But this needs to be behind feature flag after we will finish with all the issues, right?
Yes, it is behind a feature flag.
Yep, all the parts of the moving Prometheus settings is hidden behind the feature flag.
Okay, and we have like 3 more issues that we need to prioritize before we can remove this. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep. It may be a nice idea to also add the documentation issue, just to be sure to not forget about this time.
Okay. Okay, so so I'll work on the other 3 issues, see how we can prioritize them. And I don't know if it will fit to 12.9, maybe table them after 12.9 or move them to the section that underneath the filter one that we have in the planning board.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
It was already in the filler issues for the 12.8, so it would make sense to keep it that way for the 12.9.
Yeah.
My only concern with that is that if we don't get to it for 12.9, if it's already half in with feature flags, we really need to prioritize it for 12.10 because feature flag debt is really bad technical debt. And we've had that before.
Okay, so maybe we'll, I mean, on the filter issue, we will put it like in the higher part of the list.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. I think Clement, you have a fun announcement.
Yeah, I wanted to share. I know that some of y'all won't make it to contribute, but so we'll try to get this to you. But we got these really cool stickers, very meta label stickers that I'll be bringing to contribute. That represent our monitor team, monitor stage. So yeah, I'll be bringing a bunch to contribute. We'll figure out for those of y'all who can't make it how to get it to y'all. But just wanted to share that cool surprise. Not every team has this, so so far only the ops section has DevOps monitor and DevOps configure. So be excited that you're part of the cool people, or at least in my eyes, we're the cool people. Cool. Anyways, that's all I got.
Who was the initiator for this?
Yes, sorry, I forgot to highlight that. So it was my idea, but Amelia helped design it. So if you see Amelia, if you chat with her or you see her in person and contribute, don't forget to tell her thanks because she put in the hard work. I just helped communicate. So thanks for asking.
Awesome.
And this is one case where we're not going to be transparent and tell everyone that we have these until contribute, and then we'll surprise everyone, and everyone will be very jealous.
Say, hey, I want this as well. Yeah, you need to be
Yep,
you
exactly.
need to be a part of the team if you want to get the sticker.
Yep. And now I also want like group APM ones, so maybe that'll be a future sticker. Okay. Looks like Ruben, you might have a.
Okay, so I'll just say it then without typing it out.
Perfect.
There is this issue that affects the self-monitoring project link. So when you create the self-monitoring project by clicking the toggle button, a link appears in the help text above it. So immediately after creating the project, the link still works. But if you refresh the page, or if you close this tab in your browser and later come back to it, that link does not take you to the self-monitoring project. It just takes you to the base domain. So like gitlab.com. It doesn't take you to the actual project. So I just wanted to discuss if that bug is a P2 or not. If it's a P2, then we can try and get it into 12.8. If not, then it'll go into 12.9.
So
Jose,
my question is there a workaround? It just seems like the URL by default doesn't work, right? So you just have to change the URL and it would still work.
Yeah, you can just go to the list of projects, search for self-monitoring, and
yeah, if there's a workaround, I don't think it's a P2. It's a P3. But I can work on that.
I have an MR up for it. It's just a question of
nice.
getting it merged. And okay, so if we agree it's a P3, then it'll go into 12.9. Thank you.
Yeah. So, well, I'm just looking at the issue workflow documentation, and it looks like priority is whatever we set based on when we want it released, and the severity is what impacts. So, if I think it's not an S1 because it's not users blocked. S2 is broken feature workaround too complex and unacceptable. S2, and S3 is broken feature with an acceptable workaround. So, Dove, do you want to make the call on whether this is unacceptable or acceptable workaround?
I think it's I think it's acceptable.
Okay, then probably S3P3, because usually the P matches the S.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Thanks.
I think there's so few people using it because we just released it that also lowers the severity a little bit as well. So.
I have a question, Matt, around the retro issue. So we have a retro issue every iteration. What's the process? I mean, we're just reading it and that's it, or is it something that we want to raise in group chat, or what's the plan with that one?
Yeah, that's a good question. In the past, we have done not a lot with that feedback, but sometimes we've created issues. We do raise it in the kind of department-wide engineering retro. So we do kind of go through and look at them and highlight some of the top ideas at that level. But I think it'd probably be better if we reviewed it as a team and talked about some of that. So maybe next time we should do that in the next meeting. I don't know what people think about that. Just kind of maybe highlight some of the top ones or read through them, see if there's things that we need to talk about, if there's things we can, if there's process changes we can make, or for things that we want to improve, or just call out some of the highlights and say thank you for people if we need to do that, or if we can do that as well. And now I think, so the new, I'm not sure the schedule, the new retro issue for 12.9 should get created automatically. Is that right? Sometime, do we know when that is? No, okay.
Scheduled pipeline.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I know Jose and Clement worked on that, so that'll be good. But yeah, maybe people can kind of review the retro issue 12.8 one. I can bring it up here or paste it in the agenda. Add anything that you remember from 12.8, and then we can review it next week. And then by then, Clement just said then about this time next week, the new one will run. So the February 27th, it looks like the next issue will automatically be created for us, which is a slightly new process. Before we were manually creating them, but so this will be much better to have it automatic. Does that sound like a plan? Yeah, go ahead.
It also automatically posts the deliverables that we shipped and missed. So it's actually really cool to recap it.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
I mean, we didn't build this. We just utilized other people's work. But
yeah. Good.
Good. Okay, so we can add like the first item for next meeting will be like go over the issue, maybe highlight some key.
Yeah.
Anyone basically can comment. Yeah.
I think the main thing is trying to find the line between. So like I know we bubble up the stuff in the issue to the public call, but just trying to see if there's a better way to, I know that retro issue is confidential to the team, and I know we sometimes upload these recordings. So we should just be a little bit mindful of how we want to proceed with that, whether that means we don't record these review retrospective sections of the call or not. Maybe that's something we can think about.
About this, I've been also thinking about security issues. We usually don't discuss them in the call because the call is recorded. So it might be a good idea to, I don't know, pause the recording, discuss those, and then.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
Yeah, maybe we can just ask, okay, let's pause it and talk about it, or we can edit the video, right? It's not so. I mean,
Yeah.
Matt, are you recording that, right?
Yep. Yeah. So it's not too bad to edit out sections if I need to, or mask out things if we're just showing issues that we're not supposed to see. I can just kind of mask that out. It's not too bad.
I think I would prefer if we didn't record it, And then, anything we talk about that's not on the issue, we just make sure we write it down afterwards. So there's a way to surface if you're not on the call, but also still trying to keep it conversation within the team so that people feel more comfortable sharing.
Right. Yeah. For the retrospective, you're saying? Yeah. I agree. I think we should not record that part. But yeah, if we need to talk about, and separate from the retrospective, if we have to talk about confidential issues, security issues or something, then we can just pause recording during our meetings if that comes up in the future.
Makes sense. Yeah, agreed.
Right, because what's in the async retrospective issue is private to our team. So we want to kind of keep it that way if we can, so people continue to feel comfortable adding information to that maybe they don't want to share across the whole company or the world. But then, we can discuss at that point too if there's things that might be a good time next week then to also talk about if there's things that we want to surface to kind of the wider organization in the public retrospective call. Good. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Okay. Anything else people have?
I think we're good, right?
Okay. Well, thanks everyone. And have a good rest of your day.
Bye-bye.
All right.